Hi, everybody. Dhaman here, and thank you for once again joining me on my journey as I go through my favorites list on fanfiction.net. Going down again, we're getting closer to the end, closer and closer, so let's dive in with 7 stories here, starting with Skittering Campione by Greatazuredragon. So this is a worm crossover with Campione. That is a post Golden Morning fic where Taylor ends up in Egypt after taking care of Scion, and Pandora giving her, turning her into a Campion and giving her new abilities. Um, so like as we've gone through, I don't really have I have Worm fics on this story, and I've mentioned that like Worm became kind of like my big thing for reading fanfic afterwards. But mostly I read them on Space Battles or Sufficient Velocity. Um, but I do enjoy a lot of, I still do a lot, and I like post GM fix in many ways, because I do like seeing like one. I like Taylor, seeing Taylor like after everything that's happened in Worm, and like kind of being able to decompress or like get work past that stuff. Um, this doesn't quite do that. It still is kind of her because she's still in a place where she has to then deal with magic society and stuff. And unlike the canon protagonist of Campion, this magic society actually has like schemers and stuff trying to get with them. But what is fun is also she has interesting people to work off of. Like she has a minion that like she gets that's really fun, and also Lisa eventually comes in. Like granted, right at the last 2 chapters, which is a shame. But she comes in to take care of Taylor as well, which I do enjoy. Story also has a lot of action. Like even though like time frame of the story doesn't actually progress very far, we get 2 full on like god battles with Taylor fighting 2 other gods and a her fighting another one of the Campion. So like decent amount of action that happens in the span of like a week or so. But also means not a lot of time to further plotting and escalation, which is a shame. Um, I do still like the characterization that everyone's there, especially Taylor and like I said, her cohort of people. I just had a lot of fun with the story. I just wish there was more of it. So that's I feel always a good recommendation. It stays on my list. Number 2 is Time Turner Times by Ebenbild. This is basically just a one shot that is a whole made up like secret agent story Cliff Notes version, like a Cliff Notes story that we're seeing that was created to explain why Harry and Draco nod at each other at the epilogue of the 7th Harry Potter book. The adventures that happen here because of their like togetherness is kind like you have a hint of like, oh, they might be interesting, but we don't get enough of them to really enjoy it, and they aren't really funny in a way that make you laugh. More just like something like a line gets or something, and then it's like you would hear if it was a sitcom, a womp womp, and then that's it. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy this. It's gonna fall off my list. Number 3 is The Doom of Earth Bet by Inquisitor Halbeard or Halbred. Sorry. And this is basically a kind of a Doom crossover where on the day of Taylor's trigger in Worm, turns out there was also an evil cult who wanted to break open into Doom's Hell universe, and so that happens, and Greg steps up and becomes a budget Doomslayer and starts just killing all the demons. There is some decent action, like basically the whole first arc is Greg and like a bunch of others as well, everybody, because it's not just Greg as the only person existing. All the other students and other people are there here, and the PRT like comes and fights. That's all happening. So the first arc is just them fighting off the school invasion, and then we get basically a second arc where we find out, okay, there's more members of this cult still active, and Greg's gonna go around hunting them along with a OC that is gonna be his like partner. and that's kind of interesting. Like, I think I think it's like overall pretty decent. I don't read many Greg centric fics, so that was novel for me. The OC that's there works well as his sidekick, and she's set up pretty well. Um, it's okay. I just don't think this is something that I would want to revisit again and again, which is why it's gonna fall off my favorites list. Next is another one by Inquisitor Halbred. This one, The Benefits of Being a Megalomaniacal Father. This is a worm kind of crack fic, where Danny is actually like the evil genius from like the Evil Genius games, and he's like, so he is just like a old school evil genius doing those like Saturday morning cartoon villain kind of plots in the world of Worm's super serious tone and everything. It doesn't get very far, but it has its main focus is humor, and it has a lot of jokes that I really enjoyed, so it's gonna stay on my list. Next is Lone Traveler, Cock-Ups, and Snorkax by Dunoelos. So this is a expanded and like full version of a story that was in the previous Lone Traveler collection that I spoke of in the last video. And it's actually basically the big one from that collection that kind of highlighted everything I hated about how that Lone Traveler series was progressing. Where it is Harry, the Lone Traveler version, jumping into a world and just saying, hey, I'm the Lone Traveler, you guys are all stupid, listen to me, and everybody just going, Lone Traveler, okay, we must just do it, and then like immediately he's evil and just doing all that stuff and going with it. And I just found that boring. And as the thing goes on, it just didn't really become very interesting to me. There's no real drama or stakes here. Instead, it's more just like a victory lap where Harry, this like Lone Traveler, goes back to other universes to bring gifts and stuff for the versions of his friends in this universe. Like I said, it's in line with how the stories were progressing for the Lone Traveler series, so if you still enjoyed it and you like that direction, you'll like this. I just didn't, and it's not for me, so it's gonna fall off my list. Number 6 is Parental Guidance by Rumble and the Dumbles. This is another worm fic that's another like bit of mild crack where Taylor's parents are both still alive and turn out to be master thieves that find out she's also a cape right when she's like about to go out on her first night out, and basically make her join their group, and they're the thieves Ocean and Midnight Feline. And so like that's kind of fun. Like the Herberts basically are so good at stealing, they've driven the rest of the world like kind of into casual ridiculousness with it, and that's enjoyable. The story also doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like in terms of word count, it's really short, and so there's a lot of jokes. Like goes in and out, wraps itself up nicely. I enjoyed this. It's gonna stay on my list. All right, and the last one for this video is Screw It by MJ Imig, I think. This is a Harry Potter time travel fic that oscillates between humor and serious politics for a bit while managing to mainly lean on the humor side. I did enjoy this a lot. Harry, it starts at the end of the Battle of Hogwarts where Harry falls asleep that night and then just wakes up under the Sorting Hat. And then at the beginning, for like the first third, we're dealing with like Voldemort and like the main things that he was dealing with during the first 7 books. And it's fun. Harry is like, he is like using some knowledge, and he uses the knowledge that he has from the future to try and be crafty, but he also like only just was in the things. He's not like further ahead, and he wasn't. So it's a bit of knowledge and a bit of craftiness, but he also ends up being a lot of like childish, like, and also like fun childishness going on there. So like it's a good mix that I think it works well for the dealing with the annoyance of Wizarding Britain. And so like it's dealing with all the canon problems for the first third of the book of this fic. Sorry. Then the second third is more dealing with geopolitical stuff in terms of the actual like British government, the American government, and starts introducing a bit of its crossover, which is with Stargate SG-1. But the main focus is still actually on and all Earth people, like the world governments and stuff like that. And then that's where we get a bit more of the politics and stuff. But that goes there, and then the final third is just going full on into the intergalactic war side and like dealing with the various things, like, you know, alien races and things like that. Saying that and saying like dealing with politics and like and like, you know, that kind of stuff, there's actually not a lot of action because the story works out that, or the story plays up the fact that Harry and his like creativity has like just kind of like surpassed everybody in terms of conflict. So like when things do come at him, the actual moments of the fight or conflict are dealt with very quickly, and that's okay, like, because the action's not the part. The main part is the engaging side drama and constant interjections of jokes that keep the levity. It works out well. Like, it even like starts with a fun, like, where like at first like Dumbledore is like very working actively against them in like the first third of the book, and you think, oh, is it just going to be like either in evil Dumbles or like, you know, Machiavellian, and no, it's just like kind of like set in his ways Dumbles that gets a kick in the boot, and in the later parts actually starts becoming more of his friend and like a and a really fun work, like, kind of, and starts end up being up more like a straight man to him, to Harry. I just overall did like this a lot, so yeah, it is going to stay on my list. So there we go, 7 stories more down. Fan fiction status time. I've now read 1,202 stories, and 556 of them have managed to stay on my list. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll leave links to all the stories in the description of the video, as well as links to the playlist of all these videos, the forum where I post this all in written form, all that stuff. So yeah, give them a look if you feel interested, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.